Iranian drones and missiles being intercepted by Israeli Iron Dome and the likes. War is horrible, but in many cases, it is the only way to achieve peace. History has taught the world that appeasement never works. That's why sometimes you have to war in order to achieve peace, to prove to your enemy, hey, we won't tolerate this. This is a red line. This is the much we can take. Anyway, that's not the main aim of this video. The main aim is how Nigeria will benefit from the whole brouhaha, what is happening in the Middle East. Because look at the oil price right now, it is rising. This is not the first time Nigeria will benefit from an oil windfall. The first time Nigeria benefited from an oil windfall was in the 1970s. Gowon was in charge by the time. At a time, Nigeria was awash with so much dollars that he said that Nigeria doesn't have a problem of money, that the problem is how to spend it. The second time Nigeria experienced an oil windfall was in the 90s during the Gulf War. IBB was in charge then. They didn't invest the money. Nigerians didn't benefit in any way from that windfall. In fact, up till today, $12.5 billion from the oil windfall is still unaccounted for. The third time Nigeria experienced an oil windfall was in 2010-2011. Goodluck Jonathan was in charge then. Nigeria earned several billions of dollars. But by 2014, just 3 years after the oil windfall, Nigeria has started borrowing money to pay workers' salaries. Today, the oil price is trading above $90 per barrel. The increase was as a result of the attack by Iran on Israel. And there's an anticipation that Israel will retaliate, which will further push the oil price maybe above $100 per barrel. Will this be the fourth oil windfall for Nigeria since oil was discovered in the country? Absolutely not. Why? It's simply because Nigeria can no longer pump at the capacity used to pump in 2010-2011. At that time, Nigeria used to pump 2.3 million barrels of oil per day. Today, they are pumping about half of that. The main reason they can no longer pump up to 2 million barrels per day is because of oil theft and many other factors. Oil theft is the major reason. It has also led to many companies leaving Nigeria because pumping oil onshore in Nigeria has become very unprofitable. The Buhari administration failed woefully in not stopping oil theft. It spent 8 years, and in fact, it seems as if the oil theft became worse under his regime. Crude oil contributes a majority of the annual revenue of the Nigerian government, so it's strange that the government cannot improve their earnings when it is in their hands to do so. They control the entire security apparatus in Nigeria, the Navy, the police, the army. All of them are under the control of the federal government. So why can they not stop oil theft? It can only be one reason. Some highly placed individuals benefit from the oil theft. In many occasions, it has been alleged that the army or the navy are involved in the heist. And since crude oil contributes to a majority of the foreign exchange earnings of Nigeria, a shortfall in the earnings means less dollars in circulation in Nigeria's economy. Yes, the scarcity of dollars in Nigerian market has led to a runaway exchange rate, and the government subsequently officially devalued the naira. All these led to serious inflation, job losses, many manufacturers closed down their factories. In fact, some multinational companies left Nigeria entirely. Companies still operating in Nigeria are making huge losses in the billions of naira. All these can be traced to the exchange rate. In order to stop the downward slide of the Nigerian economy, the central bank is back defending the naira with billions of dollars in order to shore up the value of the naira. Is it sustainable? Absolutely not. That is completely legal. All central banks around the world do this in order to shore up the value of the local currency. So what will happen when the central bank runs out of billions of dollars to defend the naira? It means the naira will have to slide back to where it was before the central bank started defending it. In fact, the central bank has borrowed money, billions of dollars, to defend the naira. The government recently issued dollar-denominated bonds worth $3 billion with a return of 21%. They also took loans from Afri-Exim Bank worth billions of dollars that are backed by oil sales. Think of it like they sold the oil in advance. They've collected money, but they are yet to pump and supply the oil. So does it mean the future supplies will not be affected by the price increase? That's assuming oil crosses $100 per barrel. So these are stopgap measures to save the economy till the government is able to tackle oil theft and push production to the 2011-2010 levels. That's up to 2.3 billion barrels per day. That's if the government is interested in doing that. But it's very strange that a government knows that this is their major source of revenue and they are not interested. They're acting aloof as if it's nothing. They are looking for other areas. They are taking loans. But the one they are standing on, the one under their feet, they are not ready to take that revenue and improve their earnings. It's very, very strange. This is why the drop in exchange rate has not reflected in the price of goods in the market. Yes, some have dropped, especially goods that are locally manufactured, but most imports are still very high. They are still expensive. This is partly because most importers have stopped importing because of the unpredictability of the exchange rate and increase in customs duty. Businesses don't like uncertainty. If there are too many uncertainties in a business, people will just withdraw, or you will have inflation. Yes, they will increase the cost of the goods so as to cover the uncertainties. But if everything is stable, assuming the exchange rate has been stable around 1,000 naira to $1 for about 6 months, many people wouldn't bother about uncertainties. They will say, since 3 months, 5 months, 6 months, the dollar has been stable. Why would I worry how much it will exchange when I want to buy to order more goods? So that's how it works. In the end, Nigerians won't benefit from any oil windfall, assuming Israel decides to retaliate against Iran. They will simply not benefit because they do not have that capacity to pump enough oil in order to make it a windfall. A windfall will mean that the earnings Nigeria will earn in the period will be more than their budget. That means they will have extra money that they can save towards future projects, because most of the infrastructure you see in Nigeria today were actually built in the 70s with the oil money. They squandered that of the 90s. They also squandered that of the 2010-2011. So in order to make use of a windfall, you have to save for projects that will be executed for the future generation. Or maybe if they don't have any plan, they can just save it in a sovereign wealth fund like other oil-endowed countries do, Norway, Saudi Arabia, and many of them like that. Let's end with how Saudi Arabia monitors their oil output.
This is the heart of our operation. This is the nerve center.
It keeps going. Look at this. This is gigantic.
He gave us a tour of the company's command center, where engineers scrutinize and analyze every aspect of the company's operations on a 220-foot digital screen.
Every facility in the kingdom, every drop of oil that comes from the ground is monitored in real time.
In this room?
In this room. And we have control of each and every facility, each and every pipeline, each and every valve on the pipeline, and therefore we know exactly what is happening in the system from A to Z.
What this map shows is all the oil fields in Saudi Arabia. That big green blob in the middle is Ghawar, the largest onshore oil field in the world. And the one on top is Safaniya, the largest offshore oil field in the world. And these green squares are super tankers that are being monitored on the high seas in real time.
So there's not anything that goes on with oil, with Saudi Arabian oil, that isn't known in this room right now.
Absolutely, absolutely.
How much did this facility cost you?
A lot of money.